All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into something that sounds a little out there but could honestly change everything about how we build software. It's called vibe coding.
Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if you could build an app just by describing it? I mean, no more wrestling with complicated code, no more spending hours trying to find that one missing semicolon. You just speak an idea into existence. That's the dream, right? And it's the really powerful idea we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so let's get into it. What on earth does it mean to code with a vibe? We're going to look at how this whole concept shifts the job of a developer from someone who writes code to something totally different.
So this term was really popularized by Andrej Karpathy. And here's the core idea. Instead of you, the developer, writing code line by line, like a bricklayer putting down every single brick, you describe your goal. You give it the vibe in plain English, and an AI system generates the actual code. It's a huge shift, right? You stop being the bricklayer and you become the architect, the director. You're in charge of the vision.
And what does that look like in the real world? Well, instead of sitting down and writing, maybe hundreds of lines of Python code to build a user interface and handle all the logic, you just say what you want. You give a simple human instruction, just like this. Make me a simple expense tracker.
What's so cool about this is that it creates this whole new workflow. It's not about writing a perfect plan from the start. It's this super fast loop. You describe something, the AI generates it, you test it out, and then you tell the AI what to change. You're basically having a conversation with the code. Hey, that button needs to be blue, or you know what? It crashes when I put in a negative number. Can you fix that? It's a constant back and forth.
And this, right here, really spells out that shift in what a developer does. The traditional developer, they're down in the weeds, right? They're focused on the syntax, the logic, all the tiny details. But the vibe coder, they're operating at like 30,000 feet. Their main skill isn't knowing the perfect bit of code. It's being able to clearly explain the problem and then look at what the AI made and say, yep, that's right, or nope, that's not it. You literally go from being the builder to being the visionary.
So why is everyone so excited about this? What's the big promise here? Well, the potential upside is just huge. It's all about making development way faster and way easier for a lot more people.
And that promise is massive, and it kind of goes in two different directions. For the pros, the experienced developers, it's all about speed. I mean, just imagine building a working prototype for a new app over a weekend instead of taking a whole month. That's a game changer. But for everybody else, it's about access. This could totally democratize coding. You could have entrepreneurs or designers or scientists building their own tools without having to spend years learning a programming language. The focus completely shifts from knowing the syntax to just being really good at explaining a problem.
Okay, but it's not all sunshine and roses, right? Of course not. Handing over the keys to an AI comes with a whole bunch of new problems and honestly some pretty significant risks that we absolutely have to talk about.
And this quote from a user on Reddit, man, it just hits the nail on the head. The AI gives you code that seems to work, but what happens when it breaks? And trust me, all software breaks eventually. If you don't actually understand what the AI wrote, you're stuck. You've got this black box of code and you have no idea how to fix it. You're basically powerless. So, you can see how while this looks super easy on the surface, the hidden problems are really serious. The code the AI spits out, it can be a total mess, making it really hard to maintain or add new features later on. Or, even worse, it could have serious security flaws that a human expert would have caught. Then you've got these big accountability questions, like if AI-generated code in a self-driving car fails, who's to blame? But maybe the biggest worry is about de-skilling. We could end up with a whole generation of developers who are great at writing prompts for an AI, but have no idea how to actually build software from the ground up.
So, okay, we've got this incredible promise on one hand and these really serious dangers on the other. So where does that leave us? What does the future of programming actually look like in a world where vibe coding is a thing?
Well, it's probably not going to be some overnight revolution. It's more likely a slow but really deep transformation. In the next few years, we'll probably see vibe coding used all the time for prototypes. We might even see new jobs pop up like AI code supervisor. But the really critical stuff, that'll still be human-led. Then, maybe in 3 to 7 years, that line between who's a developer and who isn't starts to get really blurry. AI collaboration just becomes a standard part of how you learn computer science. And then, way down the road, the very idea of programming could shift away from, how do I build this, to what should I build and why? The big skill becomes defining the problem, not writing the solution.
So at the end of the day, this really isn't about replacing programmers. It's about changing what it means to be a programmer. The top skill might not be writing perfect code anymore, but being an amazing orchestrator, someone who can guide and direct AI systems to get the job done. It's a fundamental shift in the very act of programming.
And that leaves us with a pretty wild question, doesn't it? If the most important skill isn't writing code anymore, but just describing what you want, is the future of coding actually not coding at all? It really makes you wonder what the next huge leap in how we communicate with our machines is going to be.